I mean, Nancy Pelosi, look at what she's done to the party. She herself, personally, I mean, she's just been a train wreck, and it's coming to light now in more ways than one, you see, because they've got a new bill that they're trying to get through to prevent members of Congress from trading stocks, individual stocks, when they have inside knowledge about the industries and these companies. And, you know, Nancy Pelosi's husband, he's made a fortune. I mean, a fortune. She's one of the wealthiest women in the world. Why? Because Paul Pelosi, well, he's been trading for years. And somehow it's perfectly okay, given that she has all this inside information for her husband. Are you kidding me? To be out there trading? You don't think that he doesn't get wind of what she's hearing? Don't kid yourself. Anyway, Jake Tapper, who's trying to redeem himself every day, but let me tell you, it's going to be a long, long, long road to redemption for poor Jake. He decided to ask her about this. She's like, how dare you? This is CNN, for goodness sakes. Why are you going there? It's a pretty good moment. I want you to see it. Take a look.
Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
Yeah, but I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the stop the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider.
No, you would never do that, Nancy. I'm sure there's no possible way you would ever share any of the information that you're getting. I mean, it's really interesting when you look back to what was happening during March 2020 and how they all ran in to buy. What did they know was coming? Well, kind of what I predicted, that Donald Trump would sign a stimulus check and that the Federal Reserve would be there to hand out more money, and that, you know, before you knew it, everything would be hunky-dory, and then we'd be dealing with other problems like inflation. Yeah, they kind of had an inkling. They all know. And so they're like these expert little traders on the side, like that's their side gig. And I'm like, how does that happen? I mean, as a journalist, okay, as a journalist, I used to have to sign off and say I would not be trading stocks that I was talking about, which, by the way, I never did anyway. I never did, because it was morally just so wrong. I remember once being on Bloomberg television early in my career, and I was talking about some very obscure biotech stocks. And no sooner had I gotten off the air that they had risen by a little bit. Well, they were very thinly traded, and I thought, wow, that's not good. That's actually really, really bad. And so just the perception of it is bad. I think about, you know, my own family and my husband and working in the banking industry. Guess what? He's not allowed to trade individual stocks. Not without a whole lot of red tape. And yet members of Congress can? How does that happen? They're so worried, well, maybe he has inside information about this, that, or the other, so he's not allowed to trade an individual stock, and his family members are not allowed to trade individual stocks. I can trade ETFs, and obviously I have my picks on my individual stocks. Just take a look at 76research.com. You'll know exactly what I like. But when I want to buy one of those stocks, I have to go through hoops. I do. You know what? Because I'm married to someone who could possibly have inside information, and that is not allowed. And yet Nancy Pelosi, who clearly has inside information, is married to a guy who's trading off of it. You tell me how that is fair. It is not. It is wrong. And the reason why they're so careful with, say, bankers, people in the financial services industry on Wall Street, is because they love to regulate them. But they're not there ready, willing, and able to regulate themselves in any kind of way, shape, or form. So she's trying to say, well, you know, why do you have to bring that up? And, you know, come on, like, and I would never do that, and he would never do that. I'm sorry, Nancy, there is a very bad perception out there that, in fact, you do that, okay? Because you do have access to a lot of information. Your husband has made a lot of money, at times very interestingly so. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just a coincidence, maybe it's not. But these are things that need to be squared up. If we're going to have full faith and trust in our government, we need to get to that. We need to get to that part of everything. And by the way, the markets have been doing really well. If you have not signed up for my 76 Research, that's my company, my financial research company that I own together with a dear friend who's a brilliant, brilliant investor, I really do encourage you to go and look at this because we've just had enormous success. I'm looking at an S&P that's trading up about 0.5% today, a NASDAQ that's trading up 1%, Dow pretty much flat. Donald Trump is giving Mexico a little bit more time and days. I think 90 days he's going to give Sheinbaum. She's no fan of his, but we're trying to work it out. And hey, we got something done with the EU. We got something done with Japan. Like, it's all coming together. Mexico. Pull your act together. Canada, what you doing? Meanwhile, take a look at these 76 Research portfolio wins. You can see we have 3 different portfolios: American Resilience, Inflation Protection, and Income Builder. But if you don't get the portfolios, which I do encourage you to do, if nothing else, make sure you go and get the newsletter, 76research.com. We have a lot to tell you about GDP, which was a really good number, right? 3%, nothing to complain about there. I'm telling you, he is defying everyone. Like the naysayers that want to say, oh, there's no way that Donald Trump can pull this off. Guess what? He can.